On today's show, we're going to discuss a program that unites generations and helps to preserve our community's history through songwriting. Welcome to Charlie's Open Mic. My name is Charlie Mossbrook. On today's show, I welcome Ray Flanagan and Liz Bullock, and we're going to talk about a songwriting program called Songs for Seniors. Before we get to the discussion, why don't we listen to a song they wrote for that program?
Music's in the spirit. When the spirit comes to you, you open up your heart and let it tell you what to do. I'll be a light on the hill. In the darkness all have seen, using my gift from God and letting my voice be free. You to come over and hear my song. I know that my faith in Him is strong. Come over and hear my song, 'cause I'm right where I belong. I belong. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Lexington all the way to Superior, I've been here as long as I can remember. From Alabama my parents came on through, and I'm not leaving this spot till He tells me to. Yeah, I'll be a light on the hill, no. In the darkness all have seen, I gotta use my gift from God and let my voice be free. Yes, I do. Well, I want you to come over and hear my song. I know that my faith in Him is strong. Come over and hear my song, 'cause I'm right where I belong. Yeah, I belong. Yes, I am. Been through a lot, but I've been blessed a lot too. God gives me purpose, and that's what gets me through. Faith is a mustard seed that grows every day. Well, my faith is as big as a Greyhound bus, so get out of my way. Well, I'll be a light on the hill, no. In the darkness all have seen, I've got to use my gift from God and let my voice be free. Oh, I want you to come over and hear my song. I know that my faith in Him is strong. Yeah, come over and hear my song.
Today we have Liz Bullock and we have Ray Flanagan. They are both musicians and songwriters in the Cleveland area. Ray plays with a band called Ray Flanagan and the Authorities. Liz plays with Liz Bullock and the Tremonts. Ray is one of those remarkable musicians who is as adept with the acoustic as he is with the electric. Liz is primarily a vocalist, classically trained, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit further. Let's start with Ray.
I'm Ray Flanagan, Cleveland Till I Die musician. I used to play a lot of gigs, and then there was a worldwide pandemic.
And Liz?
My name is Liz Bullock. I work at UH as a music therapy intern. I also, in terms of contemporary music, play out by myself and also with Liz Bullock and the Tremonts, primarily singing blues and soul. And in terms of the classical realm, I am an outreach intern for Apollo's Fire, the Cleveland Baroque Orchestra.
John Hurt changed my life, and I feel like a lot of it was kind of. I remember like trying to listen to Robert Johnson when I was in high school, and thinking that I had no reference point for that stuff. So and I had no guidance. I was just in Medina, Ohio, with no real older musicians, and I had no real reference because I kind of feel like for me, being born in 1992, I have to discover things in retrograde. Like I grew up with Bruce Springsteen, which points to Bob Dylan, which points to Woody Guthrie, which points to all the other music, and same with all kinds of music, rock and roll. That like I grew up with like Guns N' Roses, which points to like Aerosmith, which points to the Rolling Stones, which then points to like everything. But for some reason, something about John Hurt, because it's almost not bluesy in terms of like the way you would think of it in terms of musical tonality. It's more like kind of major key, straight diatonic melodies. And I, for something about just the way he used the guitar, though, where he's following his voice with the guitar, I've definitely adapted that. Something about it was it's so moving to me. It's so connected to play that way, because I am a guitar player first, and I'm so connected to the guitar that I feel like in terms of performance, I use the guitar in a way that's trying to support the voice. I think it's the most brilliant thing about a lot of the old blues guitar players is the way that the guitar is tied to their voice. It's almost like they're doing there's a conversation happening. And but I definitely have worked. I remember the first song I learned was My Creole Belle, which is pretty simple as far as John Hurt songs go. And nobody could play it like him, but spending 2 weeks just trying to get my thumb to do that bass. I definitely have some amount of developed skill that translates, but in general, I've definitely had to work. Definitely had to work to learn how to do that, because I grew up and I never really, finger picking always was like a alien language to me, and I've definitely had to work and now it's like a main voice for me. It's a main way that I communicate, but it wasn't, and it's still kind of like my bass backwards way of doing it in my view of it. I'm definitely not trained, but there's something, I don't know, there's something about it that you could speak in a way that you can't be as interesting sometimes when you're just strumming, because I'm not a flat picker yet. I don't think the finger, it started to make anything when you spend time with it. If you're listening's the biggest thing. The more you listen to it, the more you recognize the sounds and what's supposed to be happening. You're gonna try and force that out of yourself. At least that's how I am. And so once I have an understanding of the way it's supposed to feel, I can start to then it's just time spent. Because I'm not one to sit there and practice like technique things too much. Only as much as I need to get them to say whatever I need to say in my head. But it's a combination of work, probably more work than it coming naturally. But yeah,
it's fun work once you get that thumb integrated into your. That thumb really, for me, it's become the foundation of everything I do on the acoustic guitar. Once you get it really working, and it does take a lot of work. Right. And I don't know that there is a right or wrong way to do it. I mean, there's a right or wrong way to play like John Hurt or Gary Davis or Elizabeth Cotton.
Well,
but they didn't
you
really
watch them;
have any.
they use like two fingers,
Yeah.
and I mean, sometimes I use all three. I don't really have. It's just to me, it's a very feel oriented thing. I'm just trying to. I want to have the spirit of it. Yeah, there's no real right or wrong, but because that's the thing too, is that they all have their own sort of unique style that is, it grew out of an area, but also like there's some disregard for anybody else other than what they had to say. And I think that's the key to it.
Yeah. So swinging to the other side, Liz.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So you with the classical and Baroque background and currently doing blues, and you could cite a few of the blues musicians who you see as so Baroque and classical is very, very regimented. There is a right and a wrong way to do that.
Yeah.
But talk about a little bit of how going between those two styles, that classical background, and then coming into the blues realm where there aren't as many rules.
It's really interesting. It's still something that I'm trying to get my footing with. I think blues comes a lot more naturally, and for some people there's improvisation in every type of music, and there is improvisation in classical music. It does feel a little bit regimented and kind of strict, but for the people who have, the people in Apollo's Fire even, who have made that their whole life, that type of singing is very improvisational and freeing for them, the way that blues is freeing for me. I guess my main goal when I'm singing any type of song is to capture the emotion and convey it in any way I can. And it's just kind of like a switch that you flip, and it works for blues, and it also works for classical. In terms of blues and soul, I grew up on Motown because of my dad mostly, the Temptations and groups like that, and then I discovered Aretha Franklin, and that pretty much like changed my life. I had not ever listened to someone like her, and there is no one like her. I mean, she's pretty much unmatched, but I was like, wow, it really struck my heart, and from that point on I wanted to sing blues. I feel like my thoughts are all over the place because it is really hard to switch between blues and classical. It's a completely different mindset. But the other thing I want to say about it is that with Apollo's Fire, they also do folk music, which is now considered classical, like very old folk music, which is soulful, has tons of improvisation, and is sung from the heart because it's what like the peasant people sang, and it's been passed down for generations, and it's not so much this little tune that Beethoven wrote and marked every single note that you're supposed to sing. It's more like the blues. The blues is the folk music of America. It is American music, and there's music for every country that is like that is the song of the people. And so there are, there are ties that run through all of that music. But for me, I do feel more connected when I sing blues.
Songs for Seniors is a project that is being put on by Roots of American Music, a local nonprofit we have they do all kinds of different programs that are community oriented. We're doing it remotely over the phone, and you're assigned a senior, and you call them and you start to converse with them, and then eventually write a song that reflects those conversations. I hesitate to say that a song that tells their story, because you don't know them, you just meet them. But it's a song that reflects, the conversation that you have with them. And I think that it's an important thing. I think one, just to call seniors and talk to them, I think it is a wonderful thing to do. It's sort of a way, in my view, without being too lofty about it, to sort of preserve some local history. You get a picture of things when you talk to somebody that's been around the area that you're in for 80 years, and how much things have changed. And this is part of my interest, where I'm like, in my head, it's a way more less gung-ho version of like Alan and John Lomax, documenting local stuff. But I kind of do it with the spirit of that there's any person that has lived here their entire life and worked here their entire life has a story that is vital to understanding the area that we're living in.
Liz, why don't you tell us a little more about the Hough community, those conversations, how they're relevant today to what we're going through as a culture?
Hough is a predominantly African-American area, and my seniors are both African-American women. Race and the issues happening right now have always come up in one way or another, and both of them have seen, my past senior and my current senior have seen a lot of events happen that kind of mirror what's happening today. And so it's given me a really interesting perspective on what's happening, because this is my first time, seeing a movement, like a grassroots movement for justice and for civil rights happen right before my eyes. And these women are basically seeing kind of a repeat of what has already happened, and are saying to me that, they're hopeful for change, but also that there is obvious need for work, because, history keeps repeating itself when we don't change.
Obviously, I think Hough has come a long way. I think with sort of Fatima at the center of it, there's so many different programs for all different ages. It's definitely like pumped some life into that community.
The Hough neighborhood, I think a lot of people are quick to judge without ever working with the community. I think doing this Hough is My Home project, The Roots of American Music, has really made that neighborhood and the people who live in it a lot more human for me, as someone who doesn't live that far away from that neighborhood, who had never been to that neighborhood, who had never met anyone from that neighborhood. I realized there are a lot of really beautiful stories. It's just one of those things where you go, oh, that person is a lot like me, and we share all these commonalities. Like the senior I was working with, she is a vocalist. Her whole life is about singing, and I'm pretty much the same way. And it just kind of made me think, wow, I would have never guessed that I would get the opportunity to talk to this woman, and that we would have so much in common. So I think it really just kind of drives home that we're really all the same. And even if someone lives 15 minutes that way, they're just also a person like you. And so I think this program allows communities that are often underserved and overlooked to kind of get a spotlight. And I really hope that it allows more people to kind of give that Hough neighborhood a chance.
Hey, if you appreciate this content, please hit the subscription button down below. Please ring the bell for notifications, and please visit charliesopenmic.com, where you can find our link to our Patreon page and help support the show. And there's an old man pushing his walker up over Coventry Hill. He hasn't got long and he doesn't need much, but he still needs some kind of thrill. He says, give me a couple of tickets and one with an easy win. scratch 'em all off, match 3 of a kind. If I do, I get to play again. Oh, he says I'm just killing time before it gets the best of me. My mind is slipping, I ain't as sharp as I know that I used to be. And these legs have many more miles, I've only just a little more time. So when my heart stops beating, ain't nothing I'ma keep, and I'm gonna leave it all behind. And the simplest moments, they always mean much more to me. Now that I'm running out of time, I got no rivers left to cross and no mountains left to climb. So give me one easy win before I die. I like to get out, 'cause no one ever comes to see me. I still need contact, I need to have you hear me speak. Just to know that I'm still here. When you listen, you make it clear. When you reach out and ask me how I am today. Oh, I smile and I tell you I'm well, 'cause your voice, it's made it so. It's all that matters in this single moment that passed by quickly though. So give me a couple more tickets and one with an easy win. 'Cause all I've learned, it ain't the money you earn, it's the chance to play this game again. And the simplest moments, they always mean much more to me. Now that I'm running out of time, I got no rivers left to cross and no mountains left to climb. So give me one easy win before I die. Give me one easy win before I die. Hey, thank you for watching Charlie's Open Mic today, and thank you to Liz Bullock and Ray Flanagan for joining me for a little conversation and song. Please, as always, hit that subscription button down below. Please ring the bell for notifications of upcoming episodes. You can always visit us at charliesopenmic.com and find our link to our Patreon page where you can help support the show. And as always, please hit like and comment down below if you got something to say. We'll see you next week. Thank you.